the possibility of Palestine or Palestinians getting their own state, because I mean the whole world knows and everybody expected it and everybody wants it, but unfortunately something always comes up to prevent it from happening. It is so sad. I mean, we really got to pray and hope for the best. It is sad that there's always something just,
Absolutely.
It is.
I also think in some way too, it's the approach and the understanding and the history behind it, right? The Israeli-Palestinian issue is not an issue that started in 1948. It is not an issue that started in 1929. I mean, it has a long history. And I think, I remember when I lived in Israel and I lived in Jerusalem, I came in with this very North American ethnocentric mentality. Okay, why can't we just get along? Why can't we just air out our challenges and our differences and move forward? And I guess for me, after living in Israel for that year, really realized it's much deeper than that. There's so much wrapped in it, with it be cultural, social, societal, language, family. There's so much. It's so deep within the Israeli soul, as well as I'm sure within the Palestinian soul, that it's, well, how do we reach people and let them see each other's humanity, right? How do we see a lot of the challenges? Because I think in some way we're not naive. As Jews, we're not naive. We know that, we Jews are not. There have been many challenges with Jews in the region. Baruch Goldstein shooting a mosque in Jerusalem. We know that there have been many challenges on both sides of the equation. But I think in some way what was really disheartening, and I think for me, looking back on my time in Israel, but that's what makes Israel really special, is that there are Israeli Arabs, there are Christians, there are Muslims, there are Jews that actually are friends. I remember, I remember seeing in Haifa, in the north of the country, Arab children and Jewish children, boys and girls, sitting together, removing hate, removing any misconceived notion or myth or stereotype on one another, and these kids learning English together, boys and girls sitting down, Arab sitting next to one another learning English. And I remember being so moved by this, of that's where we need to go. We need to sit down with our brothers and sisters. We need to sit down with members of different faiths, to sit and talk with members of the Muslim community, and to be able to listen, and not just listen and not hear, but to hear and to listen, to empathize on both sides, to be able to hear, what are your pains, what are your challenges, what are your desires, what are your hopes and dreams, but at the same time to acknowledge ours. It's interesting what Father Anderson said about walking through, right, one of the world's oldest cities on the planet of Jerusalem, and being authentic, right? You see the authenticity walking through the Muslim quarter, the Jewish quarter, the Armenian quarter, and the Christian quarter in those four sectors of Jerusalem in the old city.
That's why, Rabbi, I hold this opinion, and we need to get Father Christian in. I hold the opinion that this peace in the Middle East has to be a combination with political leaders and religious leaders. Politicians
Absolutely.
alone cannot make this decision, because there will always be something biased when they come to that. But they need to have a balanced, real religious view by authentic religious leaders who can join together in looking for peace in that political decision. So, Father Christian, you know what? We are running on a little time, and I know you're also on a clock. So let us go on a quick short break, and when we come back, we'll hear your opinion.